dark side of the Force is a pathway to many abilities some consider to be unnatural.
Is it possible to learn this power?
Not from a Jedi.
The Council wants you to report on all the Chancellor's dealings.
That's treason.
We are at war, Anakin.
Very dangerous putting them together. I don't think the boy can handle it. I don't trust him.
I need your help, son. I'm appointing you to be my personal representative on the Jedi Council.
You are on this council, but we do not grant you the rank of master.
What? Obi Wan and the Council don't trust me.
Learn to know the dark side of the Force, and you will achieve a power greater than any Jedi.
You're under arrest, Chancellor.
Are you threatening me, Master Jedi? Every single Jedi is now an enemy of the Republic. Do what must be done. Do not hesitate. Show no mercy.
Who could have done this?
Twisted by the dark side, young Skywalker has become.
I feel so helpless.
You were the chosen one!
Splash, bub. Da 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 da. Bub bub da 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 da. Da 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 da. Da 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 da. Da 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 da. Boo 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 boo. Da 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 da. Da 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 da. Da 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 da. Da 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 da. Hello, welcome to Movie Umpers. My name is Bob Sham.
I am Angela.
And yes, hope you like that scroll. A scroll in every episode, but if you're just listening on pod, you're just hearing our rendition of the theme. It is Star Wars month. Forced is the theme, is what we've dubbed the theme for this month. Forced. It's not really, I mean, we're a volunteer job. Let's be honest here. But we want to have one last ride with every Star Wars film, whether it be on, that was released in theaters, and a few films that were released on TV. And yes, they are chronological canon is the word I'm looking for. And we're watching them all in chronological order as, I guess George Lucas intended. Our canon is the true canon. Our opinions on these movies are the final opinion. Yeah. I don't give a fuck what you think about any of them. I want, after we finish all of our Star Wars movies, every place I log on, whether it be Reddit or any message boards or any YouTube videos, should just be regurgitating only the things that we have been saying all month long. And if anybody is still in comment threads and Reddit Star Wars Reddit subs saying anything that contradicts anything we say, then we will be there to argue in long argumentative chain comments. All right? No, we're not. No. The point is, we are emotionally feel the most emotionally dissonant from Star Wars. But we want to give it one last ride because we really are going to be saying goodbye, right? We're getting older.
Yeah.
We have an emotional tether like many people do. I think you only have to be like, only people like 65 and up have a chance of not having any emotional connection to Star Wars, right? But
well,
even
no,
then,
I don't think that's true because my uncle's obsessed.
That's right, because they would bring their kids to it. So now you got to be like,
they were like our age.
you
got
to be 80 plus to have like nothing for Star Wars, right?
Probably.
Well, nowadays it does feel a lot like more like nothing is what I have for Star Wars. And look, a lot of these franchises are just getting dragged out, beat to death like a dead horse. There's this dusty, brain dead conversation about what is woke about Hollywood. And then it's also these cynical companies who are just injecting shit with no, like there really isn't, it doesn't seem like there's a lot of thought into a lot of what's going on. It seems like everything is now a reaction, and I'm talking mainly about big franchise, big budget movies. I mean, these are the successful movies, right? The movies we probably prefer to watch a lot of the time, they're all under, well, they don't make them quite as much as they used to, but they're still out there. I guess the A24 branch of things, and
they are in everything now.
They kind of just
almost too much. Yeah,
they have the whole corner on that. There was another Reddit sub of just people, I love A24 movies. It's like,
that's not narrow enough.
Yeah, exactly. And it's like, well, I get that a lot of A24 movies you like, but you like them all?
It's not a category.
It seems like
it's someone trying to make money.
It seems like there's just so much fewer functioning studios capable of churning things out that having any loyalty in today's modern time to any film studio just seems a little weird.
Yeah.
That said, we love Hammer horror films, but there was also like a lot more successful production companies.
It was a different time.
Yeah, a different time.
It was a different time.
And we're not even saying all those movies are good.
No.
But yeah, these people that like, I love A24, like, okay, weirdo.
We're not even saying all the movies we like are good.
Though when I see that Janus Films old Roman coin, I'm like,
A little bit.
Maybe a little.
A little, yeah.
Janus Films. Where are Janus heads at? So we're in the final stretch of the prequel trilogy, in which we see the rise and fall, or actually depends on how you look at it. Maybe it just rises more by the end of the trilogy. The story of Anakin Skywalker becoming Darth Vader, and Phantom Menace was weird. We covered that. Attack of the Clones was a lot more action-packed, a little more fun.
Yeah.
Though that love story was not very consistent in its execution. We felt maybe not very believable. The core underlying of it seemed... And we forgot to mention the horse ticks. There were horse ticks in that one.
Right.
Now, this movie is even more turned up in terms of
horse ticks.
Effects, all the visual stuff, and even more fighting and shit. Mm-hmm. And of course, this is the story of an inept Jedi Council and a galactic republic consisting of tens of thousands of planets that's been divided and consolidated and being toyed with. And, that poor Padme, we kind of clowned her for getting dog walked in the first two movies, but... Padme. But honestly, everyone's getting dog walked in this whole fucking movie.
Even Anakin. Everyone is getting dog walked, especially Anakin. But I'm just saying, like, every single person.
Yeah.
Except the Chancellor.
Well, Anakin and Obi Wan Kenobi. Mr. Ewan McGregor's looking a little bit more like the Alec Guinness style there. Mm-hmm. They've gone to rescue Palpatine from a fellow by the name of General Grievous. The robot people have a new leader. And what do they happen to come across when they're trying to rescue Palpatine? Hammer horror. Speaking of hammer horror, Christopher Lee, Dracula himself. And Obi-Wan gets comically taken out by some rubble. He gets knocked out. And so Anakin's fighting Dooku 101. And Anakin is really good. He's very good at being a Force guy.
Yeah, he's like, my powers have doubled since last we met.
And this is about 3 or 4 years after Attack of the Clones. And yeah, he lops Christopher Lee's hands off. And Palpatine's sitting there chained, and he's like,
Kill him. Kill him now.
I shouldn't.
Do it.
do it.
Kill him.
And he fucking cuts his fucking head off. Phantom Menace, kid movie.
Mm-hmm.
It really is, or they're trying that way. This is not even, there's way too much getting dismemberment going on here.
There's no kid stuff in this.
Just the when we get to the end of it, just there's so much screaming and like tortured shit in this movie.
There's a scene of dead children. This is not a children's movie.
Yeah, and you understand why. I mean, it seems Star Wars is not going to go full R, so you understand why you're not going to actually see Anakin kill the kids. But yeah, taking in this whole movie again, it's like, wow, it really is fucking dark. Even like you see the bodies laying around, and it's not very bloody, but the lightsaber doesn't leave a lot of blood. So Obi-Wan wakes up and Dooku's dead, and they're like, all right, let's go back.
Yeah, no one questions it because Dooku was so bad. Jedis appear to be okay to kill really big baddies.
They're not supposed to kill like someone who surrenders, but they go back to Coruscant and the Padme, you know, in the first two movies, Padme's doing some stuff. She's getting involved in the adventure. Not in this one. She is pregnant, which we knew that was coming. All of her scenes are just her in a penthouse being like, what's going on, Anakin?
Yeah.
Anakin, what's happening? And
Why are you upset?
And we'll get to her fate, but Anakin is having visions, Force visions. I wish they maybe had done a thing to where it's like the Emperor or Palpatine was injecting those visions. Maybe he was.
I mean, the Emperor knew what his visions were, so...
But Anakin keeps getting visions that she dies in childbirth, right? So that's the key to the things going in the Schitt's Creek direction. So they send Obi-Wan to go find this Grievous, and we get this big chase on this planet where Obi-Wan is riding this lizard. It is the most kind of, I mean, everything looks impressive, but the idea that Obi-Wan's got to ride this, he's sneaking into this headquarters on a giant lizard.
That squeals a lot.
That he just happens to know how to ride as well. Maybe that's Force stuff. It helps him.
Maybe.
But it just seemed like such overkill that he's got to be riding a giant lizard, sneaking into a camp. Like, man, just a little speeder or something. One of those little bike things I think would have been just fine. It was, but it just, that extra bit, like it's just a little bit overdone there. Even though it all looks good.
Anakin has gotten closer and closer and closer to the Chancellor. We find out he even told the Chancellor about how he killed all of the folks that took his mom, even the children and the women.
Yeah,
and so
he really sees him as a grandfatherly figure.
Right before this, the Chancellor tells him, I need you to be my man on the inside with the Jedi Council because they don't trust me. And here's where Grievous is. And so he goes to the Jedi Council and he's like, here's where Grievous is. I'm supposed to be on the council now, and also the Chancellor wants to send me. And they're like, you can be on the council, but you cannot be a master, which fucking pisses him off.
Yeah.
And then they say, you're not strong enough to go to Grievous on your own, so we're going to send Obi-Wan. So he feels as though he is being like stamped out. But at the same time, the Jedi has also asked him to spy on the Chancellor. So he is doubting the Jedi now because he says, you know, you can't say that you're good and up front and then have like behind closed doors conversations that are not on the record about me spying on the Chancellor.
It seems like the Republic is a little, and the Jedi Order are a little too linked in. It
Yeah.
seems like the Jedi Council probably would have thrived a little better if they were almost like a separate, like this, almost like just a little religion, and they just focused on fighting the Sith.
But they're almost this like advisory committee who are also ninjas.
Yeah. And there is kind of a fine difference. Like when we go into the original trilogy, there are a lot of people in the higher ups of the Empire that that are kind of dismissive about all the Force stuff, right?
Yeah.
And the Emperor Palpatine seems to do a better job of isolating his creepy, spooky Jedi shit separately from what's going on, and it seems to serve him better.
Yeah.
But the Jedi Council is like, they're doing all these moves, and it's like, well, they want to preserve themselves, but they're so tethered into the Republic that there are moments where they're, when they want him to spy on Palpatine, and Anakin's like, that's against the Republic, right?
So he's really trying to figure out who is being honest and who he can trust. And he does have reasons from both sides to not trust them, but he also he's not at all humble. So he gets mad at them.
Still whining.
Because he is not going to be a master. He's the youngest person to ever be on the council.
Yeah.
But he thinks it is disgraceful that they would put him on the council and not make him a master. It's like, just give it like 2 more years, bud. Like, I don't know. Also, he himself is deceitful because he is married to Padme and he's not supposed to. That is literally against it. And so he's afraid she's going to die. He tells the Chancellor, who does seem to know his dreams. And the Chancellor has been grooming Anakin since he showed up at the Capitol. And he is hardcore leaning in on this one. It does not take long because also Anakin has so much hate in his heart that you can just see like emanating from him, and fear, and he wants revenge, that it does not take much.
So Obi-Wan does find General Grievous, and we get a big swashbuckling fight scene. And Obi-Wan's doing that like kind of shit-eating grin when he's fighting.
He
like,
gets so excited.
He gets really into just what
I
seems
think that's
to be
Ewan McGregor.
what seems to be certain death. Obi-Wan gets really excited. One moment he's just doing the most amazing things, and then another moment a rock hits him and he's knocked out for like 15 minutes. But General Grievous, an interesting little character here. He looks like he's got some organic parts to him. He leads droids. The Trade Federation was leading droids in the first one. Dooku was leading droids and other things in the second one. So it's not unusual that he wouldn't be pure droid. But it's like, it's just one of those kind of cool character designs that Lucas can do that, it leaves you a little more curious about that character, even though, he will die in this battle.
Because it's not until when he's almost dead that you see his face so up close to realize that there is flesh. And it looks like burnt and gross, but then and
he reveals a heart.
Yeah, he rips open his chest.
And then Obi-Wan blasts him right in the heart. And his whole body like bursts like through his eyes and stuff.
Yeah, it's crazy because it's like, I get what you're saying, because I was thinking about that too. Is he a robot made with biological parts, or was he at one time some sort of alien or person, human?
I kind of think like maybe he's one of those Sebulba type aliens with a robot body, the shape of his head. The way we're talking about this is kind of what all Star Wars has always kind of struck into the imagination, because you can see the big ideas at play, and the one key to the success is what it'll show us something little, and then we will observe it and kind of like think more and more about it, and like, oh, what is it? You're more. But, in the early days, there was a lot of mystery about it. And the prequel trilogy, it kind of does take away a lot of the classic mystery.
Yeah.
That's kind of one of the problems of it. In the original trilogy, you're like, well, you don't know Darth is his dad. And Darth Vader is, like, scary and he's mysterious. And truly, the prequels just take the mystery away completely.
Yeah, that's true. But it also does this weird thing where, and we'll get to what happens at the end, but you do I'm interested now watching it in order, and this is why I got excited to watch it in order, because I am so interested now to watch episode 4 and see how I feel about everything, because I know that he is tortured and lost. He's not just a big badass.
I think we're still going to like it better than most of them. I think remembering the first one, it feels so much more simpler than these movies.
Oh, definitely. I'm excited.
So I'm kind of excited to just have this kind of feel more grounded, at least for a little bit.
Yeah.
So Anakin goes to the Chancellor at one point, and the Jedi wants him to be there to spy, and the Chancellor wants the Council to assign him, and it kind of works out for both parties. Though, if the Council really suspects that Chancellor isn't who he seems, then don't put your most volatile Jedi there. I don't know. Look, these are all just bad choices. This all results in all of this shit collapsing, truly. But Palpatine, he's explaining to Anakin's like, yeah, he kind of tells a story about a guy who was so good with the Force that he raised the dead, and he tapped into the dark side and he raised the dead, and Anakin's like,
is it possible to learn this power?
Not from a Jedi.
Yeah, the dark side powers are pretty cool. Too bad the Jedi can't do things like that, but that shit's so cool. And yeah, you could imagine like stopping death, Anakin. Imagine
saving Padme.
Who's not even dead. You're just getting these visions. And Padme is the worst character in this movie. She is nothing. If you thought she at least was a little more active and adventurous than the other two, she just becomes like the most frail. You still don't understand what she would see in Anakin. I guess maybe beyond physically, but she literally does nothing.
He truly has her up on a pedestal, and I think there is a good moment at the end when she sort of denies him and says, like, I cannot follow you down this path that you're going, because he has this idea of what they can be, but he is only thinking about one thing at a time. He's not looking big picture. He doesn't think about, like, what is my life going to be with Padme if I join the dark side? If I become Darth Vader, who he does name him Darth Vader, and I'm a Sith Lord, what does that mean? He at one point tells Padme his loyalties only lie with the Chancellor, her, and the Republic. One of these things is not like the other.
Yeah.
So it's never going to work out.
Well, Mace Windu comes around, Sam Jackson.
Right.
And he calls some shit out directly onto this Emperor. And, or he's not the Emperor yet, the Chancellor Palpatine.
Because Anakin tells.
Yeah.
He does tell.
He does report him. So the Jedi Council are coming around. So Sam Jackson he's kind of holding him off pretty well. And Palpatine is starting to turn as the Force lightning is coming back onto him. He's looking more pale and white like we originally saw him. And he's
gross.
And he looks real creepy too. You know, Jeffrey Dahmer was a big fan of Return of the Jedi. I think he was obsessed with the Emperor and how he looked. And it's too bad we lost him before Revenge of the Sith came out. I think he would have loved it. So Anakin cuts off Mace Windu's arm, and that gives Palpatine, who I think was faking the suffering. Yes. He like pushes him out the window of Coruscant, and Mace Windu gets fucking killed. But Anakin, he killed him because he wanted to prevent the death of Padme, which he keeps seeing in visions. And so it's from then on that, you know, Anakin completely joins the dark side, and that's when he gets dubbed Darth Vader. Yeah,
and, you know, he does then go and do some terrible things. They do the Order 66.
Yes, what a kick, Order 66. This is when the clone army, who are
all sleeper agents,
who are literally the personal army of the Jedi Council, essentially, turn on all the Jedis that they're out in the field
because
with.
they're really the army of Darth Sidious.
And they handle all the Jedis that are spread throughout the galaxy. And meanwhile, Anakin goes directly to the where the Jedi Temple is and kills everyone there.
Master Skywalker, there are too many of them. What are we going to do?
Including all the babies, young men.
And so
children.
This is, from this point on, Padme and Obi-Wan are gradually coming to realize like what's going on. And Yoda's taking the fuck off because he narrowly avoids because he's hanging out with Wookiees.
Yeah, he went there
to warn them. We get a Chewbacca appearance.
Mm-hmm.
But Chewbacca is just very like a soldier in this war. But Yoda manages to escape the clone army that as they try to kill him.
Yeah, he actually feels them approaching and he's able to cut their heads off before they can kill him. And he does get away. Interesting, too, that where Senator Organa is, who will adopt Leia, he is a senator, and under Order 66, they're not to kill him. So they actually put him on a ship. They're like, you need to leave now, basically. You need to get the fuck out of here.
Yeah, he's not Jedi. So.
And so he gets on this ship and gets away, but he obviously immediately goes to Obi-Wan and Yoda. They all kind of come together to figure out what the fuck is happening. But meantime, Obi-Wan has gone to Padme and he told her.
Yeah.
And she doesn't want to believe it. So she sneaks off with C-3PO to go to where Anakin is because he told her where he was going, to this like lava planet where the Trade Federation is. And Obi-Wan sneaks on her ship.
And Obi-Wan doesn't want to face it, even though he knows.
That's right.
He doesn't want to face it. He even says, like, I don't want to kill. Everyone's like, you're going to have to kill fucking Anakin. And he's like refusing. He's like, and so Padme does finally figure it out. If you have to kill 10 children to somehow prevent my death that you foresee, you can just let me go. We'll figure out another way. You don't have to kill 10 kids to do it.
Yeah. I mean, absolutely. That would be insane.
And what do you, we know this is the route. Do you think they really executed it like well? Getting from this to full dark, because it kind of, in my opinion, Anakin just kind of seems kind of stupid.
It happened really fast, and he does seem really stupid. He's very driven by his emotions.
Insanely simple.
His anger.
Yeah, like
he can't see past it when he's like that. Like I said, he doesn't see. He has Padme up on this pedestal, and I honestly think in this movie it kind of works that she's kind of a nothing character because he's not really paying attention to her. It doesn't matter who she is in this story, right? It just matters that he wants to save her. And so when she goes to him, and she's very pregnant now, and she goes to him, and he has killed the entire Trade Federation on his own. And he is alone on this entire planet of volcanoes. And she comes to him and she says, Annie,
you're a good person. Don't do this.
I won't lose you the way I lost my mother. I am becoming more powerful than any Jedi has ever dreamed of. And I'm doing it for you. To protect you.
Come away with me. Help me raise our child. Leave everything else behind while we still can.
Let's get the fuck out of here and we'll raise our child and we'll run away. We can if we go right now. But he tells her, no, I'm so powerful. I'm going to be more powerful than even the Chancellor. Like he is a lord. He's a dark lord, but I'm going to be even more powerful. And she literally is like, this was the best part to me, where she truly looks at him and she's like, I can't do this. Like, I can't go with you here. And then he's like, well, you don't fucking love me. He starts choking her.
Yeah.
Right? He doesn't kill her in that moment, but he could have. And then he sees, because Obi-Wan comes out, because he didn't know. She tries to tell him, but he's choking her, that she didn't know Obi-Wan was there.
Yeah, we're on Lava Planet when Obi-Wan has to do the final. What I assume it's an energy source for the galaxy, but they it's kind of wild, this battle. But before we get into the Obi-Wan Anakin fight in more detail, Yoda goes and meets Palpatine at the Republic meeting pod area, and they're force throwing these pods at each other. They're kind of at a stalemate, and then Yoda is like, I must go into exile. Yoda still looks stupid. I still don't like the way he looks.
Does.
He had a cool fleeting moment in the second movie.
Yeah.
I thought Yoda's a punk bitch in Revenge of the Sith.
1,000.
Like, yeah, you're in a stalemate. Well, that means you're not dying. So why don't you keep fighting this greater galaxy threat, even if it costs you your fucking life, considering all of your friends got Order 66.
Very careful timing we will need.
He manages to hide from him. Exile, I must go.
Which...
And him talking like that while trying to be cool and serious is like ridiculous.
There was one sentence he said that was so serious.
Last, the Jedi are no more. Not if anything to say about it. I have.
Yeah,
Good Lord.
The Yoda-isms when he's trying to be like a badass fall flat, especially because he's not a badass. He's a fucking coward that runs away.
Into exile, I must go. Failed, I have.
He says,
fuck Yoda.
I failed.
Failed, I have.
And he did. He failed so many times. He told Qui-Gon Jinn no, but then he somehow then allowed Obi-Wan to train Anakin. He said he thought it was a bad idea. Guess what? If you think it's a bad idea and you're the head of the fucking Jedi, you don't let him do it. I don't
She's
care.
all worked up.
And then it's also his fault, like you said, that he approves Anakin being the spy to the Chancellor when he constantly is saying that Anakin is too volatile. Why would you give the boy anything? He should have been Yoda's apprentice, if anyone's. Although, so was Dooku, so we know he's not that great. He fucking messed up from the start.
Imagine us as kids watching Return of the Jedi, being introduced to this little green guy. He's funny.
I loved him.
He's sassy. He's got a little attitude, but he's wise. Return of the Jedi, not an amazing movie, but fun, and Yoda helps to add to the fun.
He's also
the prequels really kind of ruined Yoda.
Yeah,
he ran. He ran.
Well, he does come back a little bit at the very end. So we can talk. You want to talk about the fight, and then we can talk about how it all wraps up.
Yeah, they're fighting on lava. They're fighting on rocks on lava. They're flighting. They are flighting on platforms that are flying while they're fighting. It did succeed in being pretty epic. Obi-Wan turns out to be the better swordsman, and he lops his legs off. This is why this isn't a kid's. This is like a ride at 18.
This is horrifying.
You were my brother, Anakin. I loved you.
It's not R-rated. I think this had like a PG-13 or something. But yeah, like there's a lot of dismemberment.
He doesn't die, but he loses both of his legs and his other arm. So he has one like robot arm, and now he has no other limbs.
And then he rolls.
He starts burning.
He rolls down the embankment, gets close to the lava, and starts lighting up. And you hear him screaming.
And this part,
it's kind of cool.
It's cool, but also Obi-Wan was weak because he just should have cut his head off. I know he didn't want to kill him and he thought he was already burning and he was going to die, but you cannot trust that.
I kind of felt Obi-Wan in this.
He turned and walked away. I did too, but it's one of those things where you know later when he finds out that he's still alive, you know he was hitting himself over that.
I might have also would have assumed he was dead as well.
But do you get it on the... Well, I guess he had to leave because he had to take care of Padme because she is going to have the babies.
Yeah, there was some stuff... yeah, I kind of... Obi-Wan's the best part of all these movies, right?
He is, and I love him. I'm just saying, if he had killed him for real right then...
Okay, but...
People just... It's just more mistakes.
He's not going to die.
But this
we
is
know
also
he's not going to do that. We already knew that.
I know.
We knew that 16 years before these movies came out.
Okay, so here's how the end goes with the divvying up of the children. So, Padme
dies of a broken heart.
dies of a...
We're not kidding. She dies. She's waifing in a...
The love of her children is not enough to save her.
She's a penthouse waif throughout most of this movie. And then at the end, she literally dies of a broken heart. What is dying of a broken heart really, right? It's depression, right? Maybe you don't eat. No one literally dies of a broken heart. No one literally goes, I'm just going to fucking die. My heart's broken. I'm just saying what the process of an actual dying of a broken heart would actually be. It'd be a slow burn. You're depressed. You stop eating. It could take weeks, months, maybe even years. And you're just a shell of a human being. But they literally have her die of a...
She's completely healthy, and they say there's literally no reason, but they're losing her. She's 100% healthy.
It is so dumb.
It's so dumb. So she gives birth to the babies. She names them Luke and Leia, and then she's dead. And so they do a big funeral procession for her. It looks like she's still pregnant because they need everyone to think the babies are not there, right? The babies are gone. And so then they go and they're having like this sit down, and it's Yoda and Obi-Wan and Organa, because no one else is left. Everyone else is dead. And basically Organa's like, listen, we always have wanted to adopt a little girl, so we'll take the girl. And it would like make sense, right? Because they talked about it. No one's going to question. They decide that Luke's going to go to his family on Tatooine, and Obi-Wan's like, I will go and watch him. And I think that's him paying his penance. He's like, I now have to go live on Tatooine and watch over this boy.
Right.
Because this is all my fault.
Also, there's a detail where Yoda explains to Obi-Wan, who's really seasoned in being a Jedi, and Yoda's like, oh, by the way, I'm going to teach you how to talk to your dead master through the Force.
Yeah, so you can talk to Qui-Gon Jinn.
Even though it appeared that Qui-Gon Jinn didn't miss out into the Force, they burned his body.
And then,
because he's a slaver sympathizer.
That was weird. And then Yoda goes, so we'll now all go into hiding until it's time.
You fucking bitch. I'm getting
for episode 4.
Getting the fuck out of here, I am. Sucks to be you, it does. Yoda, you punk bitch.
Yeah.
Pussy Yoda. Never would have thought. After that second movie, it's like, I mean, I guess he's got to get punked. He's got to get raked over. I mean, this is the story of how they all lose. We always knew that.
I don't know. It's one of those things.
Maybe it's the story maybe it's not the best story to tell.
It's not good because he said, I quit. He should have gotten at least knocked out. You know? Like something happened, and I'm talking about this like it's a wrestling match. He fucking pusses out.
Tired I am. All friends dead they are. I leave.
Dead not I want to be.
Oh, Yoda.
And so we go and give the baby to Owen.
I do love, that's the end. I do love how Sam Jackson, he's like, when he's got Palpatine under his thrall, he's like, oh, I'm gonna kill this motherfucker.
Oh,
and
yeah.
Anakin, I mean, thinking bureaucratically, you kind of understand this. Like, this guy is the leader of tens of thousands of planets. He's like the lead senator of this. Like, it would have had like these amazing repercussions had Sam did that. But Sam is just like, nah, he's too dangerous. So I kind of, it wasn't interesting. Like, that could have had in another alternate world where Sam manages to kill Mace Windu, manages to kill Palpatine. That could have had some kind of weird thing where still the shit falls apart, but it's all Anakin who's upset.
Yeah, that he's lost, so he's got to like try to find books and figure shit out. Because there's only 2. There's a master and apprentice, and you have to know everything.
And maybe would have delayed it a little bit, but if Anakin didn't die, maybe he would have come back with the dark side and just end up doing what the Emperor would do.
There was also a small moment that we skipped over that I really liked where the Emperor became the Emperor. Like, so the Chancellor goes in front of everyone and he's like, listen, I was in a big battle and the Jedi tried to kill me, and so the Jedi are now our enemies, and
enemies.
The Jedi are our enemies.
Enemy mine.
That's a good one. The Jedi are our enemies, and we are now going to make the Republic into the Empire. So he's the Emperor. And that is when it happens. He becomes it. And there's this interesting moment between Organa and Amidala in their little, like, Naboo floaty before they all get wrecked in the fight, where she says, "So this is when Liberty dies."
Now, I know not every...
And I think she started dying then. I really do.
So corny. So corny. A broken heart? Just kill her. Just have someone murder her.
But it's
and then they take the kids out.
It's, what is it called? Self-realization? No, it's self-prophecy. That word. Like, it didn't have to happen. It never was gonna happen.
He changed nothing.
She died because of him.
Yeah.
She died because of him. If he had just said, fuck all of this, I know I'm going to get in trouble, but let's go to Naboo out in the country again and just hide out while this whole shit's going down, because the most important thing is my wife and baby. They might have been okay. He never mentions the child. He does not care about the kid. He cares about her.
We see him in his getup at the end, and he's screaming to the sky because she died anyway.
Well, and this is the very last, like, puppet master pull of the string in this trilogy, is that the Emperor says, "You killed her." It takes the very last bit of humanity away from him.
Yeah, we see a CGI Peter Cushing at the end, but from far away, not like Rogue One, where
it was okay
looking
in
at
this.
The pores.
Yeah,
and we'll talk more about that later. That movie, and not the next one, but the one after. Mm-hmm. The Clone Army, there was about 1 million of them, they said, right?
Yes,
so,
the only one whose name we know is Cody.
And they've been in a war the last 3 years, so their numbers had to dwindled.
But they're growing more all the time.
We're coming back to Luke in what, 17 years or something like that. And so I guess, some of those stormtroopers might still be clones, huh?
Yeah.
But many are recruited through the Empire, but they don't make any more clones out. These are the Clone Wars that they mentioned in the original trilogy.
So there's no more new clones after this?
No.
Because I thought they're all clones up through like 4 through 6, but then it's in like 7 that we learn that they've been like taking children from villages, and that's where we get what's his face.
My presumption is that the original trilogy stormtroopers are a mix of both.
That makes sense. So who's left?
Recruits and remaining clones.
But did they stop making clones? They didn't destroy that?
Well, they had to talk this alien species who didn't seem too bad to do the clones, so we don't know what happened with that species or
that's true.
What they decided, or maybe the aliens saw the Empire pop off and were like, we're not. We're going to go into hiding. Who knows? Yeah. Who knows? They got a lot of books to explain extra bullshit if you want to go read them. But yeah, we finally did it. We got through the Anakin Skywalker prequel trilogy. And I did have we have distinct complaints, but I won't say I didn't have fun sitting through this movie.
Absolutely.
It's 2 hours and 20 minutes, and it didn't really feel that long to me. It kind of breezed through faster than the other two.
Yeah.
But there were still just like weird character moments here that seem to almost regress. We're just striking a balance of like really well executed visual stuff and really baffling character moments, which is the story of the prequel trilogy, isn't it?
Yeah.
So you're gonna give 1 through 5. I'm gonna give 1 through 5 combined for best out of 10. I'm gonna go up 0.25 from my Attack of the Clones. I almost went 3.5, but that's really just because of all the cool shit. The lightsaber fights, you get more action. The final, for that final battle between Anakin, the melodrama there at the end, I'll say it's a 3.5. Because although that's layered with the stupid melodrama of Padme having a broken heart, that did kind of deliver. Even though it was strange how it got there.
I thought it actually did.
I thought it delivered. So I'll give it a 3.5.
I'm going to also give it a 3.5.
That's a 7. A solid 7 for Revenge of the Sith. We never said the movie. I mean, you know what we're doing.
Do it now.
You know what the title of it is. It's Star Wars Revenge of the Sith from 2005, directed by Jorge Lucas, and starring Ewan McGregor, Natalie Portman, Hayden Christensen, Ian McDiarmid, Sam Jackson, Christopher Lee.
Was this a summer release? The only reason I'm asking is because 2005, something else very important happened in 2005.
We met.
Yes.
It's spring. These all came out in May.
So we met about 6 to 8 months after this.
Yeah. Coincidence? Yeah. Just a coincidence.
But we've never watched any of these together.
This movie did better than the second one. It reached 868 million. And I imagine it would have been, you could see the success coming because everyone wants to see Anakin fight Obi-Wan.
Yeah, I also did just lie because we've watched The Phantom Menace together. Because like you said, for some reason it comes up every so often. But no more.
It's the most notorious, it's the most culturally relevant of the prequel trilogies, truly, in terms of what people go back to and what people keep referencing after all this time.
Jar Jar has like one line in the third movie. He's there, but he does not talk.
So here you go, folks. Star Wars Episode 3, Revenge of the Sith by George Lucas from 2005. Hits a 7, our highest of the prequels. And it rests, I think, appropriately next to The Adventures of Robin Hood.
Yeah, hell yeah.
No doubt, like, those early swashbuckling movies inspired George Lucas.
1000%.
And it's this is at least as good as Halloween 3, Season of the Witch, Forrest Gump, Dracula Has Risen from the Grave, which is another Christopher Lee vehicle, Black Christmas, and The Naked Gun. It's at least as good as those movies, if not better, the best of the prequels. So declare us. So next week, we got a couple of pre-OG trilogies they came out with over the years. One we will be watching for the first time. Our next one is Solo, A Star Wars Tale. It's about Han Solo, and we fell asleep. We turned this on in bed one time, and we fell asleep. This is the only one. By the time this movie came out, Solo, we were like, I'm not.
We were tired,
and I still don't feel very interested in it.
I'm not interested
but we were gonna
either.
But we were gonna watch it.
Mother of Dragons is in it.
Yeah, well, doesn't seem like a lot of the Game of Thrones casts are getting
Woody Harrelson is in it.
Cast even further deep into movies as we get away from Game of Thrones, does it? Except for the old guys like Charles Dance. And then after Solo, we will be discussing Rogue One, which I expect to have good things to say about it, but there is some controversies. And then, of course, after that, we get into the original from 77, I believe, is Star Wars, the one that started it all. That is next week for Forced Star Wars Month, all month long, all right? So check the show notes for links to other places to find us. Like, subscribe, leave a comment. We appreciate it when you do things like that. And goodbye.
Jar Jar is the key to all of this.